Okay, let's continue our topic on indexes. So previously in our video, I have introduced you the three rules. Okay, so we have rule number one. Okay, so rule number one over here, I can write as a to the power of negative n, and I can rewrite this as a fraction, which is 1 over a power of n. Okay, that's rule number one. Okay, rule number two. Okay, rule number two, we say that if I have a and I raise it to the power of 1, I will always get back a. Okay, and my third rule, I will take a to the power of 0 and I will always get 1. Okay, so these are the first three rules of introduce that I introduced you. Okay, so for today we are going to go with the fourth rule. All right, the fourth rule over here, it's called the multiplication rule. All right, the multiplication rule. Now let's see how does this rule apply. Okay, now this rule is written in this way. Okay, I'm just gonna write it on top here. It's gonna be a to the power of m, and I'm gonna multiply a to the power of n, and this is equivalent to a to the power of m plus n. Okay, that is how we write the multiplication rule for indexes. Now when we take a look over here, let's take a look what happened over here. So this rule is saying that when you are multiplying both number here with their respective power, okay, if a over here is the same, all right, if a over here is the same, you can add their powers, okay, as shown over here. So let's start with a simple example over here. So let's just say I have 2 to the power of 3 multiply 2 to the power of 2. Okay, so according to this, all right, according to this, since the base is the same, so we can add the powers together. So I can rewrite this as 2, and then I will take the power 3 plus 2. Okay, so that is how I can write it based on this multiplication rule. Now after that, I am just going to solve this. Okay, so what am I going to do over here? I am going to add up the power as shown in this multiplication rule. So my final answer will be 2 to the power of 5. Okay, now that is how we do this multiplication rule for indexes. Now, take a look at this, all right? 2 power of 5, if we were to expand it, 2 power of 5, we should get 32, right? We should get 32. Okay? Now, to show that this rule is indeed correct, we can do, all right, another way to show that this is correct. Okay? Now, let me show over here. If I have 2 to the power of 3, multiply with 2 to the power of 2. Now let's just say you do not know about this multiplication rule in indexes, okay? So what I have over here, it's 2 to the power of 3 multiplied to the power of 2, right? So according to BODMAS, all right, according to BODMAS, we should do the order first because we have power on here. So let's expand them. Right, 2 to the power of 3, I will get my 8 multiply 2 to the power of 2, it's going to be 4. And true enough, when I have 8 multiplied by 4, I will have my 32 as well. Okay? So that is how we do our multiplication rule. Huh? So again, if I have the same base, I can add the power up. Okay? Let me use another example. All right? Let's try to use a different number now. So let's just say I have 4, okay, to the power of 2 plus, multiply 4 to the power of, let's just say this time, negative 3, okay? All right, another example over here. Now, very similar to this multiplication rule, okay, since we have the same base over here, so what does that mean? We can add up the power, all right? Okay, so I can rewrite this as 4, and then I have 2 plus negative 3. So I'm going to add a bracket here, and I'm going to put negative 3 over here. All right, again, if I have the same base, I can add up the power, so I add it in this way. So as a summary, I will have 4, okay? And over here, this is going to be my 2, and I have my plus and the minus here. So this will be converted to minus 3, okay? So my final answer here is going to be 4 power of negative 1, okay? But I'm not done yet. 4 to the power of negative 1, we have established an understanding of this in our previous rule, right? So if you look at the list of rule over here, I should be applying rule number 1. So what can I do over here? I can further change this into fraction. So I can just apply rule number 1 and I should get 1 over 4. Okay? Now that is how we play with multiplication rule over here. Now another example I can show you over here is this. Okay? Now let's just say I have this. I have this written down. Okay? I have a bracket, 2, and I have, let's just say I have a square here. Okay, I have a square here. And then outside of this bracket, I have power of 3 like that. Okay? So how should I solve this? Okay, how should I solve this? Now before I show you the shortcut method, let's try to establish an understanding here. What is this showing? Now let me change this into something more simpler so that you can you understand what's going on over here. Now if I were to write in this way, let's just say I have 2 to the power of 3. Okay, we understand this, all right, because it is the power of 3. So we understand this as 2 multiply 2 multiply 2, right? Because 2 to the power of 3, 2 cubed. So we multiply by 3 times. So we can use back this understanding and apply it over here. So I have 2 square now, and this whole thing here, all right, it will multiply by itself 3 times. So we can write this down in this way as well. So it's going to be 2 square multiply by 2 square, and I'm going to multiply again by 2 square. Okay, can you see what happened over here? I have expand this to this, right? Okay, since there are three of them, so I multiply by itself three times. Looks similar to this, right? And that's how I relate it. Huh? Now after that, what can we do over here, right? What can we do over here? Now if you look over here, this looks very familiar already, right? It looks like the multiplication rule over here. Okay, you are right. Okay, we can use this to solve this right now. Okay, so since if you notice that the base over here, they consist of the same number, so what can I do with the power? Based on the multiplication rule over here, if I have the same base, I can add the power. So I can rewrite this as 2, okay? Then the power 2 plus 2 plus 2, okay? So in the end, I can summarize this as 2 to the power of 6, okay? 2 to the power of 6. So which is also equivalent to, if we expand this, we should get 64, okay? Now, this is a slightly longer way to do this. All right, there is actually another shortcut to do this. Okay, I just want to establish this understanding first for you all. Huh? Now, another way we can do this is this. Okay, now let me write down the question again. Now, what is the other way to do this? Now, I like to say it like this. If I have a number, let's just say a number and an alphabet stick together, okay, usually this means an operation, a multiplication operation. So very similarly, if I have a number next to a bracket, it also means multiplication operation. So we can use this understanding over here to this one, right? Can you see this one? If I have, right, this one over here, right? This 2 is inside the bracket, this 3 is outside the bracket. So by following this, we know that this is actually a multiplication operation. So in other words, we can also write it like this. Right? We can also write it like this. Huh? So this will mean 2, and then I have 2 times 3. And true enough, your final answer here will be 2 to the power of 6. Okay? Alright? And of course, when you expand this, you should get 64 as well. Now, based on this, I have established another type of rule. And what can I write over here? So over here, I can write as, if I have an A over here, and this is power of something, okay? And the outside here, outside this bracket here, I have another power. I can simplify this as A, M, N, okay? So since since the alphabet are sticking together here, so we know this is a multiplication operation. So as a summary here, I can write down the 2 more new rules that I have established here. So rule number 4, this will be the multiplication rule. It's going to be A, right? It's going to be this one. It's going to be the same as the one on top. All right, if you have the same base, you can add up the power when you are multiplying it. All right, multiplication rule. And for number 5, okay, I can have this one, A to the power of M, and this whole thing is to the power of N. I can also summarize it as A, M, N. Okay? So the main focus here, in addition to the 3 rule we taught indices, will be the multiplication rule over here. Okay.